Get into the trenches, dig into your purpose, and fire up your life fulfillment. The Ambitious Vet Podcast starts now.
What's going on, Ambitious Vet? Thanks for diving right back inside the trenches with us this week as we seek to provide you with the golden grenades or critical insights, if you're new, that you're going to need inside the trenches of life to break through to new levels of life satisfaction, fulfillment, and success in your life post-military. And keep in mind, this is for you veterans that have been out for a few years now and have been in the trenches of life trying to become more in the civilian sector, and you've realized immediate transitional education has a shelf life. This is your new home, and this is where you get equipped to stay unstuck in you achieving your goals post-military. Now, what do we have today? Well, as a follow-up to last week's episode, if you haven't already listened to an Ambitious Vet, go and listen to that episode before this one. And that title was How Emotional Intelligent Veterans Build Social Support Systems in the Midst of Problems. Great episode, and it's not because I was leading it myself. It was just a epiphany I've had through having a lot of conversations with veterans over the course of the past few months, leading up to our community learning platform launch. And I thought that it was a timely topic, and I'm excited to unpackage it a little bit more in this show. So what is today's topic? Well, by the end of this, Ambitious Vet, I would have wanted to equip you with a communication framework. I'm going to do the best I can communicating inside the show, but supplying you a framework that if you continue to use will have you be the most charismatic and influential person in any support group that you're a part of. And also create a long-lasting support system that would die for you, just like you felt that support and that bond in the military community. So if that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and rock and roll. So what is the framework? Well, this framework is going to be a framework that I've established from being a sales trainer in the corporate world and also spending over 10 years in sales, but also just learning how to communicate with people after the military in a persuasive and very influential way. So if you're still in an office, pull out a pen and paper. You're going to want to take notes. If you're walking, jogging in the gym, or driving, just make sure you're taking mental notes of this and go back, take notes later on what the framework is. So what is going to be the framework? Well, the first question inside of a conversation, inside these support groups, in the midst of problems that you're trying to solve in these support groups, which could easily be hobby groups, job networking, career advancement networking, entrepreneurial events where you're trying to network and create opportunity, vendor partners, customers for your products and services, you name it. This framework can be repurposed in every environment you could find yourself in. So let's dive into the first question. So say I'm walking up to Sally at a support group event, a Bible study group, or cigar bar, or fill in the blank, your nail spa, if you're a lady that likes to do that like my wife does. First question is what are you up to right now in life? It's a powerful question, isn't it? Right there, it has people already starting to think forward of what their aspirations are and what they're passionate about. So first question is what are you up to right now? Now the answer to this is key, right? Because the direct answer to this is what they value in life. This is what matters to them. Any meeting, any networking event I go to and I ask this question, usually it's someone saying, well, I'm trying to build this company. I'm trying to get it to this X milestone. Or it's an employer, if I'm looking to get hired, right? Just saying, well, we're trying to find this project manager that fits this description. It's what they value in the moment. That is key. Now carry that along with this throughout the rest of this framework in conversation. So the next question, after you get their answer, tell me more about that, right? People love to talk, right? And they're going to love you and trust you more the longer they talk. And your job is just to half-assed act like you're listening, right? Which is not always easy depending on what you got on your mind. But see, the key thing here is when they're telling you more about what they value in life, this just really helps not only establish your listening, but it also reveals more deeper on what they're trying to do with what they value. Gives you more details to kind of just think about, right? So now also, when they're telling you more about it, right? Always make sure you're emphasizing with what they say. Don't look like a robot. Don't have that 20-yard stare that a lot of us military guys and gals have where we're just mean-mugging them and trying to stay bearing and tactful, right? This ain't the military where if you flinch your face or show compassion, you're going to get kicked out of the platoon or hazed or, fill in the blank from the military culture. Really emphasize with what they're saying. Mirror their emotions. What do I mean by that? Well, if they sound resigned, like if someone says they're trying to generate more leads in their financial advising company, right, at a networking event, and they just say, well, it's just been a struggle, this year's been slow, stuff like that, and if they sound resigned and just completely hopeless with it, wow, emphasize with that. Really be like, wow, like I can tell it's been a difficult time, right? Or if it's someone that is an employer that you potentially want to find a career inside of, or maybe you're in a current career that you don't necessarily like and you want to advance and you're in front of a potential employer and they're saying, yeah, this is kind of what we're looking for. We're excited to find this opportunity and they're excited. Emphasize with that as well. Be like, wow, like you guys are really on squared away, right, with what you guys are looking for. And, yeah, I can really tell you guys are super clear on what you're trying to do, and that's exciting stuff. So really match their emotions behind what they're actually saying, right? So now after you're emphasizing, they've told you what they're up to right now, and you've gotten more layers deep with it. Tell me more about it. Next, you want to establish where they're at right now and where they want to go. What is their desired end result, right? So an example would be the financial advisor says, man, I just want to generate some leads. It's been a tough year. No one wants to learn personal finance or budgeting or wants to invest in all IRAs or whatever their problem is, right? You could easily just be like, hey, totally got that. I mean, it sounds like it's been a difficult year. Well, where are you at right now? And they'll tell you, They'll tell you how many leads they're potentially generating right there in that moment. Say it's 2 leads a month. Well, great, got it. Well, where do you want to be, right? From there, that creates a gap in their mind. Keyword gap. You want people to kind of see their gap, which they already know, but you're having them see more clearly right in front of their face that they see where they want to be and they're not where they want to be. Hope that makes sense. So the pro tip here, a lot of beginners and amateurs right here in this moment where they can see and smell blood in the water, if it's an employer looking for a talent that you can fill, you'll just start chomping at the bit. Or if you're someone that could help funnel leads and help create some kind of referral agreement with the financial advisor, you're going to be chomping at the bit at this point. I get it. Your job is not to drink the blood that's there. Your job is to simply not try to fix it or change it. 80% of people shut down after you start trying to fix and change them right there in the moment. Think about it. When you are sharing what you're challenged by, and someone's just like, well, you need to be doing this, that, bop, 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 and they create a whole roadmap right in front of you, how does it make you feel, right? Well, in my opinion, whenever someone's right there trying to fix my problem right then and there, I usually feel stupid, right? So your job is not to have people feel stupid. Your job is to make them look smarter than you and help them give you all the knowledge that they already know and organize it in their head. So how do we do that? Well, next step, after you figure out where they are and where they want to go, you're going to have to figure out what are they doing about it, right? This is powerful. This has them practically think on the court, right? Every day as they're playing the game of life, what are they doing about solving that problem? And this will also expose more details for you. So let's take an employer, for example. Someone looking to hire a project manager inside their company, right? They may just be like, well, right now we're promoting it inside of these job boards, these job networking events and stuff like that, but we're just not finding our client, our ideal person, right? And you can just be like, hey, emphasize it. I totally got it, man. That must be frustrating, right? That must be super frustrating, right? And then also quantify it, right? Like, okay, how many candidates are you getting right here? And also, where do you see you need to be doing? And you want them to get to a point where they're just realizing that what they're doing isn't working. Once you can see that they just can see that, you've got them, right? So still, your job is not to try to fix and change or say you're the superhero to their problems. That's not the way to go. It actually shows insecurity. So the point is, at this point, you've been able to establish what they value in life. They've told you more about it, where they are, where they want to go. So they've established a gap in their head. You've been emphasizing with their emotions around the whole thing. And then also you've established what they've already been doing that hasn't been working, right? So also another point I want to add to what they've already been doing is this is where you've got to turn your listening up and your speaking down. This is where you have to really hear, are they taking the actions that they need to be taken to gain that talent that they're looking for, gain those leads that they're wanting to gain, or whatever it is that they're building in life. Most often than not, they're not taking the actions that they need to be taking. Or you could possibly see a new action that they could be taking. We all know as we're listening and we're having people open up to us, we can see new actions for them to take. Your job is not to just throw it down their throat, right? Fix it and change it. And also you got to be asking yourself, or even ask them straight up, is why have their actions not been effective up into this point, right? So I hope that makes sense. So up until this point, right, the framework and becoming a leader-like presence or influence in your selected support groups that creates a long-lasting support group that's going to they're just going to want to die for you, right, is what are they up to right now? Tell me more about it. Where are you at? Where you want to go? Emphasizing throughout this. Also, what are they currently doing? And quantify that, right? And also listen, really tune in your listening here to understand what, are they taking the actions that really need to be taken here? Now, lastly, you're going to authentically position yourself as someone that can reliably deliver a resource, a connection, or a product or service that could solve these needs, right? So if you're in front of a potential employer, right, you may be the candidate for the job. So you may just, position your human capital, your experience, your certification, your skills, your education, or your resume right there to them, right? If it's a life group, maybe you take a weekly MMA class, or you go to a cigar bar, a whiskey bar, or a nail salon, right? Inside of that, is it a book? Is it, someone that's inside your network that could help them gain more clarity or get to that goal that they said they wanted to be at by the end of the year quicker? If they're an entrepreneur or entrepreneur, right? What is a product that you've consumed? Or someone that owns a product that you could potentially connect them with, or if they're a potentially client of yours, what product can you provide? So to tie this all together, right, we want to position you as the expert at the end of this conversation with a solid value proposition, right? Not from a place of fixing and changing, but from a place of, I don't know if this is it, but I would like to kind of just show you what has worked for me, right? And here's kind of a script that I have found that is not drinking blood and trying to fix and change stuff, but is very just indifference, but also is very effective. And I'll just read it aloud here. And it is, I hear this is where you're at and where you need to go, right? Right? For the financial advisor, maybe they've generated 2 leads every month for the past 3 months. Hasn't been enough. They need to be generating 12 to convert at the level that they want to convert, right? And they may reply with, yeah, that's where I want to be. You totally got it. Great. Well, I value making money as well, right? Next, you say what you value too based on what they value. That person values making a difference, serving more customers. Well, I value serving more customers as well. And I have X that that's helped me in this area, right? Is there an expert that you've leveraged? Or maybe you have a product or service that has helped X amount of people in this area generate more leads as well. Whatever they're valuing in their problem set. And then also talk about why it's different than anything else, right? Or why you're different than anybody else. And this is how they do it. And make it sound easy. The how they do it, make it sound easy. In other words, the info you collected, where they are, where they want to be, and also underlying what they value, you just simply got to show them the next steps, right? So to just kind of role play again, right? To talk about the potential financial advisor that says they value just serving more customers to make more money and provide for their family, right? They are at 2 customers, right? They want to get to 2 leads a month. They want to get to 12 leads a month, right? You would just emphasize with them and be like, wow, like I can get that you're at 2 leads a month, right? You want to get to 12, right? And they're obviously going to agree with you. They're going to agree with you, right? And look, I value serving customers as well. I value X, whatever that you hear that they value. And I have a product that's helped people generate more leads. Or I know an expert or a book that's helped me generate more leads in this area. This is why it's different. Like it just helps create a framework that's easy to execute and helps you learn in ways that is easy to learn and implement quickly so you can be getting to that point in the next 30 to 45 days. And this is how they do it. You just simply go to this website or, hey, I'll send you a text with the book link, or, hey, here's the next steps for us just booking a call to dive more into details of my product or service. Would you be open to that? Right? So make it easy for them. And at this point, it's going to be easier than what you think because you've been asking so many questions and being positioned as a leader and an expert and an influence because you're actually listening to their problems and literally just tying it to a solution inside of a trusted support system where people are dealing with the same problems. So Ambitious Vet, the takeaway here is if you practice this communication framework over and over again, it will undoubtedly improve your communication skills, fuel the passion and trust inside your relationships, and it's going to create a more solid support system around you that will be willing to die for you, just like your counterparts in the military were willing to in the trenches of everyday life. So that's today's show, Ambitious Vet. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't already, go and rate and review our podcast. If we're a 2-star, rate us a damn 2-star. If we're a 5-star, give us a 5-star. And just, again, write a text why you gave us that rating so we at least have some kind of feedback loop so we can be improving week by week with our content for you. Until next time, Ambitious Vet, hold the vision and trust the process. Take care.
The Ambitious Vet is available on all popular podcast platforms. Go to vettrainingcoaching.com to subscribe, rate, and share with fellow vets.